Well, we're done now.
All right, well, very much. That was very good.
I did have Max Patter, but well, why don't you start us off in by letting whoever is going to be tuning into this who you are, what you do, and
Yeah.
yes.
I will say, my name is Sarah Segal. I'm an ergonomic and workplace specialist, and I will come into any workspace really and make sure that it's well set up for the individual, whether it's in their own home or a large company. I can pretty much look at any environment and the person and make sure that the environment is set up for them and not that they have to adjust their posture and themselves to suit the environment. So it's all about adjusting the environmental issues. And the aim of this really is to prevent workplace injuries. It's to enhance well-being at work, improves morale, and creating work zones so that people can really focus at work when they're working and not get distracted by whatever else might be in the room or the area. That's looking at noise as well as the physical environment. And involved in that, I know we spoke briefly last week about bringing neurodiversity elements into that, because usually I look at the physical environment and the person's posture and physical well-being. And I know that neurodiversity in the workplace is becoming a larger issue. And with the advent of working from home, it's also very helpful for people with neurodiversity to be in their own environment where they can control it, rather than being in a large workspace where there's uncontrollable noise, uncontrollable movements, and all things like that, and the environment as well.
Well, yes, no one really likes to be almost imprisoned in a building surrounded by four walls from 9 till 5, and sometimes even later.
Yeah.
Not just people on the spectrum, but anyone in general. I personally believe that creativity works so much better when you are not told you have to come in, you can do work from anywhere. For me, I don't really care where you work as long as you get this stuff done. You can work on the monkey bars if you want to, on the beach naked if you really want to. I really don't care as long as you get the work done.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And if that environment enhances your creativity, your working power, then of course the work's going to get done even better. And like you said, if we're cooped up in a small office somewhere, we might be able to focus for a bit, but our minds are going to be looking for more stimulation and our own distractions from this very small environment. Yeah. I think you've gone on mute. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I pressed the wrong one. I pressed F, which is brings up the favorites bar on Google. Now I know. In there, I spent all day trying to press Command D, which obviously I mute, but wasn't even on the screen. But anyway,
we're here now.
What do you get for having this big thing in front of the keyboard when you can't even see anything?
It looks very good though. It looks very official.
So for my this isn't, well, you've seen my workspace live.
Yeah.
I am higher than the desk, but unfortunately I've got these big like courtesy of budget chairs, which is not the best thing to do, especially when you're sitting at a desk from and wanting to get the good posture. You've got a large
That's
backrest, you've got arms, you can't really get
mm, mm,
upright, and it really is very challenging. I can't. That's why I hardly use this space because I can't
oh,
do it properly.
right. So you go from one table in the other room to the kitchen table.
No, I go from this table to the couch. If I'm going to be slouching, I might as well slouch right.
Absolutely. Be comfortable when you're slouching. Precisely. And that's our bodies seek comfort.
Yeah.
And when we start to get uncomfortable, we change our position. You can see from this, the viewers as well will see how much we're actually changing our position. Even though we're sitting still, our posture is going from side to side. We might lean forward, we might lean back, depending on how much concentration we're putting in, what we're explaining. So our posture will change anyway, even if we're sitting on a really good chair. So it's, but we seek comfort.
Yes.
And when things start getting uncomfortable, we know that lying down is so comfortable. So that's what we'll do. And so also, like you said, it's a budget chair. We don't have to go for the most expensive chair. We just have to go for the functional chair for our needs. So, for example, the armrests, they don't serve any function for you. So and the backrest isn't so sufficient for you. So when you're looking for a chair, you don't have to look for an expensive chair. You just need to look, do the armrests adjust, and can you remove them? And the backrest, you need a little bit higher, a little bit broader. So those are the things that you can look for in a chair, as long as it's got all the right adjustments. And then you change your position, do some standing up, some sitting down, have a walk around. There's so many ways that we can healthily change our positions without going into the lying down position. Yeah.
Yes. If I could afford a riser, I would actually I get rid of this L-shaped desk and replace it with one that I can stand up and then sit down as I want to.
Yeah. And you just keep that in your mind, because there'll be a time, please God, there'll be a time when you can afford, and you'll write your wish list. We can all write a wish list. And how far down is that going to be on your wish list? Yeah. Or how far up is it going to be on your wish list? So, and this is also something I tell people, you can't, with limited funds and budgets, you can't, or I can't go in to see someone and expect that they're going to take my really expensive recommendations. So I look at their environment, they tell me what their budget, what their needs are, and then I work really in a realistic way. I saw someone just this afternoon who works from home, knows that there are issues with the equipment that he has, the furniture he has, and his habits, and the other people who live in the house as well. So it's really working holistically, I suppose, to see actually what does the person need and what's going to be an interim, because we used furniture that he already has to create a good standing desk without buying anything new. Yeah. So it's really working with what the person has. And that's why it's really important I go and see the workplace, because then I can really talk about the real life,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe there are certainly in the UK. I'm not quite sure about anywhere else in the world, but I believe there are certain grants for this as well.
There are. There are many hoops to jump through. And for employers, for employers, they are obliged to make the reasonable adjustments, and they are adjustments that don't take much money. They don't. It could be helping someone structure their day, come in a little bit later, leave a little bit later, have a longer break in the afternoon and stay a bit longer at work if they get fatigue. So those things don't cost money. They just are a flexible way of working. If somebody needs major adaptations to the work, if they need, say, a lot of buildings now are built and renovated to include lifts, to include ramps, and the very obvious disabled access, and they are obliged to do those. However, they can work with the person to get the best fit for them without spending lots of budget. And the access to work will give the employee, the person who needs it, a budget, and then they can get what they need. So I hope I'm saying that right. So there are just many ways that an employer can work around or say these things are not viable, and at the same time I've had a few clients now who they want their employee to continue working with them as long as possible. So they've called me in and said, what adjustments do we need to make? What, is this person still practicing safely? So it's a kind way, what adjustments can we make so that this employee continues working? And obviously there are unfortunately some companies who, when the going gets tough and the employees are struggling and the employers don't want to make those adjustments because it affects their business, really, their income and their way of working, then they don't want to make those adjustments, and so they start kind of saying, we need to make adjustments to this, and you have to work this many hours. If you can't cope with it, then you've got to see occupational health, and then occupational health get involved, and then it's kind of a spiral, but towards actually the person needs to leave, and then there's the option of the employee going for tribunals and trying to keep their job. But it becomes a very
No, we.
so really
You froze there.
Oh, did I? Okay. I saw you froze. I didn't see me freeze. So what I'm saying, the way I've been employed by clients at the moment is that the employers want to keep their employee, and they want to make sure their employee is safe at work, and so they call me in to give advice about how that person can still work there for as long as possible.
Well, yes, that I imagine is the cheaper option than
because then they have to
advertise.
They have to re-employ someone, or employ a new person.
Yes, and with self-employment, though, it's a whole different thing with access to work. As I have looked into this several times, you've got to have some ridiculous amount of money in the bank before you even accept it. So you've got to have £6,000 sitting in the bank doing absolutely nothing before you even are eligible to even apply, which I personally think is ridiculous. Because if you're self-employed,
Mm.
how
Yeah.
on earth do you have that kind of money?
Yes. You see, it's the hoops to jump through, and there's not many people who can access to work that the government say that they provide. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree with the hoops to jump through, but lower the threshold slightly for self-employed. So for example, if you're self-employed, you will then be required to have, I don't know, 2 or 3,000 as opposed to 6 and
So,
over.
yeah. Yeah. Maybe they want to make sure it's a viable business that they're giving funds to. But by the time someone's got 6,000, it might be that they no longer need the access to work, or
Yes.
they might not be eligible for it any longer.
Yes. You get
So,
6,000, you're eligible. If you have, I believe, up to I think 16, you are no longer eligible. If I'm not mistaken.
right,
Or anything above 6, I think you're not eligible.
you're not eligible.
No.
Yeah, so it's a tough one, and if people,
It's a scheme that's a disaster waiting to happen.
yeah, yeah.
But,
Unfortunately, it's keeping people in a low wage job.
yeah.
They've got the potential to set up for themselves and do something that they would be really good at, creative and everything. And yeah, so it's keeping people in those low wage jobs or out of work. Yeah.
Yeah, keeping people in the system.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah. It is a tough one, but
It is, but I'm curious. I'm curious to see whoever's in the audience on LinkedIn. There is no one on YouTube now because someone's just clicked off. I can see that in the top right, left, whichever side you're, where the live bit is. There is an I, and that's the YouTube, or external platforms, apart from LinkedIn. But what do you guys in the audience? How do you have? How do you make sure you're set up for a more comfortable work day, shall we say, than coming into the office and leaving like the Hunchback of Notre Dame?
and structuring your work day.
Yes. When you're self-employed, the structure sort of goes straight out the window.
It does. It's very, very important, especially if you're working from home. You're not
Yeah.
going out to a rented office or out on the road or anything. It's very important to have a separation between home and work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, one bleeds into the other, and there's
Which
no
I don't
respect.
get. Which I don't get. Which is really sad. I relax in my workplace. I work in my relaxing place.
Is there a way? Is there a way to separate them?
Not unless I rent the flat upstairs as well, which I can't do because I have to shut my neighbours out.
Yeah.
It is a problem because I want to rent. I would like to rent an office and actually work outside of my relaxation environment, but we live in London, so
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, we can't have it all. We can't have everything. So there's one. I also love what I do, so it makes it better. That's great. The getting outside to stretch and have fresh air is really what we need.
Yes,
Really
I
what we need.
sort of have no choice with that because my fresh air is largely dictated on when my dog wants to actually go out.
Okay, so it
So
forces you.
getting work done, actual work, does tend to be a challenge
Ah.
because I got a chap who wants to play all the time, and the only time I can get work done and do this kind of thing is in the evening, which is not ideal because that means I work till stupid o'clock in the morning, and then the whole day starts again. So yeah,
Right. But two things on that. One is you use doggy daycare. So it
once a week. I don't have 35 a day for 7 days a week.
no, no. Right. So it's one day. So, but the other thing I was going to say is when your dog wants to go out, it does force you to take a break.
Yes.
That's right, David. Not all reasonable adjustments are costly, and it is an active conversation between both parties. Yes. It's definitely a conversation, and it's an ongoing conversation,
Yes.
because what's good for someone one week, depending on their condition, why they need those reasonable adjustments,
Yeah.
will dictate on how often you need that changing conversation, how often you need to update what the person's going through. Yeah.
Like I need to do constantly.
Yeah, and a lot of people as well do. But what I was saying as well is having the dog or having any
Yeah.
pet forces you to take a break during the day when otherwise you'd go for hours sitting down.
It does, but you're taking a break during the day by sitting down, but you cannot in this day and age, at least not easily, escape the screens.
Very true. Very true. Yes.
I mean, I'm maybe on a walk, and then this thing goes off. I'm like,
Yeah. But the thing is, you're walking,
yes.
and if you've got Bluetooth in your ears, then you're not walking like this and then like that. Yeah. So
It's still not relaxing doing that when you're out walking. I mean.
no, it's not. But depending on how long your walk is, you could use it as a break.
Yes.
And then phone the person back. And that's a lesson to all of us, I think, that just because the phone rings, I've got a colleague who we could be mid-conversation, really important conversation, a call comes through Teams, and he takes it. And there's no separation between a face-to-face that's very important and a call coming in, because we're so accessible now on Teams, on our phones, on any medium. And it's our knowledge and discipline to say, actually, even having this 20-minute walk is really important to me. I'm not going to take a call in that time. And it just it just kind of recharges you and resets, so that when you get back to your desk, your workplace, you're fully charged again and able to make that call and have that conversation. And often when calls come in, we do have an idea of what the conversation is about. You know, if you're at the moment, I'm having a website built, and if, say, my graphic designer phones me, I know what the call is about. If a colleague phones me,
I've got one if you need to use one.
Oh, thank you very much. So at the moment, if a colleague calls me, if one of your associates calls you, we normally have an idea of what it's about. And so when we're ready to make that call, we're fully prepared for the conversation. So having those 10, 20 minutes time out isn't a bad thing. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
it's not so much wasting time as it would be actually a bit of preparation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good takeaway from this as well.
But also, you're on the flip side. If you're on the flip side, if you try to do work and then after a break, and you're like several young people nowadays, they're scrolling through TikTok. I mean, I've been at a point when I've been doing that on a lunch break. I look at my watch; it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon already.
Yeah, because you've got sucked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've gone down the rabbit hole.
That can't be good for mental or posture.
Exactly. It's not good for our posture. It's not good for our concentration as well. Yeah, but that's something we need to manage ourselves. Whether it's if you start doing the flipping the shorts,
Yes.
set yourself a timer on whatever device you have. Set yourself a timer. When that timer goes off, that's when you stop. Not even one more short, not one more thing, because you'll start that cycle again.
Yeah. I haven't done this. This is the first time I've actually opened the computer today. Not quite sure if that's a good thing, but
What, the first time you've opened what?
the computer today.
Okay. So you were really mentally preparing for this session, that you thought, I'm going to completely switch off, have a complete recharge, and now you're completely prepared.
Yeah, because normally, especially when Max here, he's great. He's great. But I do struggle to get a word in.
So this is quite a good session then. Oh, very good. I'm sorry I didn't meet him though. Sorry he's not here.
Yes, he has chronic fatigue, so officially.
Okay. Okay. So is this a difficult time of day for him, or can it be any?
I mean, it can be any time, really. At
Okay.
any time, it can just come as sudden as it goes.
Okay. That's a shame. As long as he can schedule, you see, because that's something I also help people deal with. If he can structure his day, that he does the important bits of his day at the times he's all right, then he can relax and rest when he needs to.
Yes, I think he does. He definitely does do that. Yes, so that's what Joe's there for.
Right.
But with with regarding our audience and what we can what they can do right now, because they don't have you. Most of them are from the States, apart from David, which is from this part of the world. What can they do? What can they do right now to make a slight, easy, more comfortable adjustment from where they're currently sitting? Which I presume, if they are here and doing other things, they're on a laptop. Laptop keyboards are great, but you do end up like that.
Yes. Yes, you do. And you also end up like that, like a hamster. And you can end up like a turtle. If I show you this. So if you've got your neck and then you go like that and you turn into a turtleneck.
Yeah.
So those are the things you want to avoid. The very simple adjustments are, if you are on a laptop, get yourself a separate keyboard and a separate mouse. And then immediately you're opening up. Instead of going hunched like this, closing up your lungs, you're then able to open up your lungs, and helps your breathing. It helps your mental state as well. So having a separate mouse and keyboard is a very big recommendation. And you can get things also which raise up your screen. So you can prop up your laptop on a stand so that the screen is now at your eye level. And then you've got your keyboard and mouse at your arm level. So you've, instead of using one thing, you then separated it.
I don't know if my laptop is at my eye level. I doubt it very much.
Are you looking straight ahead, or
I'm looking straight ahead.
what do you see the top third of the screen?
I see the top side of the screen, but to do that, I drop my eyes.
Oh, so is it a bit high then?
And now I've dropped myself.
Yes. I can see you moving. So those are immediate adjustments, and keyboards and mice.
Oh, mice.
That's right. There are lots of charities, David.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention that.
Because they, as well as excellent support from RNIB, that's great. Because they provide some things, and I think they make recommendations for some things, and they can give the very bold colours, the raised bumps. If you with a lot of touch screens now, people with visual impairments don't know where to touch, so you can put raised bumps in the areas you need. So it's a very there's a very broad way of helping people with visual impairments. And likewise, what I say to people, if you do have a long-term condition, say it's arthritis or ME or anything, there's a charity and a society for most conditions. And if they can't help financially, there's always a forum, there's advice pages, there's people you can phone. So the charities for whichever condition someone has is a very valuable resource. Yeah. And sometimes people don't think of that. They don't think, oh, I've got multiple sclerosis or Parkinson's. And it's not until someone says, have you looked at the charity? Have you looked at the society? That people think, oh, right, okay. And there is a lot of support out there. Thank you for that, David.
There is a lot of support. More, I don't know if it's less here or more here. I've not checked the statistics.
For where?
If there's more in the UK or if there's more elsewhere, and I don't want to get into political discussion.
No, and I don't know. I only deal with the UK, so I don't know. But I would say if there's a larger population, then the support might be greater.
Yes, and so is your setup like mine, which is armchairs and.
So here's my office chair. It's got my son's blazer on it right now, but what you can see is if I take this off, the back support.
Yep.
You can see the back support. Yeah, which means my whole back is supported.
And mine clearly isn't.
Right. So that will make a difference to your working day.
The end of the chair ends here.
Yeah. And
And
so
I end here.
and you end there. And so your tendency might be to lean back.
Yep.
It might be to lean back to really, because your back is seeking support.
Yes.
So it's going to lean more to get more support. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a fundamental thing is the armrests need to be adjustable
Movable.
and removable.
Yeah. Mine isn't, definitely not.
No.
It's got these. It's got these silly round mirror disc kind of things on the armrests, which you have to unscrew. Then you get to the screws themselves.
Oh, I see. Okay, so removing it is a bit of it's a
Yes.
hassle, and then it might not be made to be removed.
Yes.
So, but you know what else I would say, as well as the charities, there's Facebook Marketplace. People are selling things cheap. People give things away. Free cycle. If you're on a community WhatsApp group, swapping, giving away,
Yep.
all those things, all those platforms are really good because someone might just be giving away what you need. And they're always happy to give away. You know, if someone wants to get rid of something, they want it gone now or yesterday. Yeah, 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
So I would say don't be afraid using those platforms as well. And then the second-hand websites are also good for finding furniture that you wouldn't necessarily afford, but you know you need, and there'll be someone somewhere selling it or giving it away if you're lucky.
I wouldn't have. I wouldn't normally buy from Facebook Marketplace purely because I don't really trust Facebook.
Right. That's fair enough.
To be fair.
Yeah. Each to their own. I mean, I have my favourite platforms for buying and selling and giveaway groups. But people who do use Facebook Marketplace, that's one platform they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I trust Facebook. I trust giveaway groups more than Facebook Marketplace.
Okay. So the giveaway groups on Facebook, you would
Yes.
trust. Right. Yeah.
And if I could talk, if someone gave them the number, and then I can actually talk to a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And Facebook Marketplace does have the facility to message the seller.
Yeah, when I talk to a person, I like to just get their number and then make sure they are actually who they say they are.
Right. That's that's very sensible, and I would suggest everybody does that. And just because I said Facebook Marketplace and the local groups as well, it doesn't mean that everybody has to do their due diligence and know if they're getting a deal or if they're being frauded. Everyone has to do their own homework on that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Let's not do the same. Let's not turn into what I was in my teens, which was got scammed twice by the same person.
Oh no. Oh.
One more, I got to keep the match ball. No, I didn't get 3, thankfully.
Thankfully, yeah, you learned your lesson. I think there's a saying: if you're wronged by someone once,
Yep.
then and you give them another chance, you're giving them another chance. If you're wronged by someone more than twice, then you're silly.
Yes.
You did all right. Yeah, but it is a tough world out there.
So for desks and setup, I would gather you would recommend a chair with no arms.
Well, I would recommend a chair with arms because we all like to lean on something. So I think it is important to have armrests, because if we're on the phone, if we're not using a handset or earphones, then we're on the phone like this and our elbow wants to rest. If we're having a face-to-face talk with somebody, then we will want to have our resting on an armrest. Otherwise, we're going to lean front ways like this on the table. Yeah, because
Like me right now, yeah.
like you, right? But you've got armrests.
Yes, and because I've leveled my chair, my armrests are down here.
Oh, so they're not even useful.
No.
No. Because it's about the base of support. How many bases of support do we have when we're sitting? We have our feet, we have our bottom, we have a backrest, and if we have armrests, then really our whole body is being supported. We have maximum base of support. If we take one of those away,
Yeah.
then if you think if we make our chair too high and our feet are dangling, we're going to wriggle a lot. We might even give up on the chair and stand up, because we need a base of support. So when we're sitting having a conversation, not being functional, so not using the keyboard, not writing, we do want to have maximum bases of support. But it's important to be able to put those armrests away when we want to sit more further into the desk. Yeah.
Yes. There is. Yes, most chairs that I've actually looked at and found don't have armrests which flatten when you want them to go flat. It's very annoying. The chairs look nice.
Yeah.
But then these are rigid.
Yes. David Pushkin is messaging a lot, and that's very good. Help groups and advocacy is essential for the conversation. It can be a long journey, but persevere. Yes, and I think if we are using advocacy and social groups, then we can keep in touch with them and get to know them. And when we get to know them, then we can start to give more to others, and we also get more out of it as well. So, so being involved in whichever society you need to be is very beneficial for yourself and also others.
Yes.
And it is a long journey, so it's best to be as involved and knowledgeable as possible about what each person themselves is going through. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yes. I mean, to find the right equipment is a challenge.
Yeah.
Certainly for me. I wanted a desk which was a riser. I bought this shit because I thought it was a riser, and then it turned out, oh no, it's one level, and the only riser I got was a little shelf thing, which an afterthought.
Oh. So, but it came with it.
Yeah, it came a little bookshelf kind of thing, which you put a little.
Oh dear. Oh. Okay, and you were too late to send it back?
Oh yes, it had already arrived, and I had already assembled it.
Okay.
I wanted the L shape, but I guess they didn't make one with that rise.
On your wish list with the chair.
Someone somewhere must be able to make custom ones.
Yes, you can. You can have a custom made one. However, you can imagine the cost.
Yes.
And so there are best fit ones. Because unless you're going to go bespoke and have your measurements done and
No, not the measurements. I just want the armrests to actually just
to disappear.
disappear when you want them to disappear. And when you want them to reappear, you pull another lever, or as the Americans call it, lever,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
next to the first one, which lowers the chair, and then they reappear again.
That would be ideal, and it is possible to get those. They just cost money. That's all. Unless you're very fortunate and someone's giving away for free.
Yeah.
I know on my neighborhood WhatsApp group, people say I'm giving this away, that away, and it's a good way of also getting things, because you don't have to go very far to pick it up either. So yeah, so there's once you have an idea of what it is you need in a chair, in a desk, in any equipment, once you have an idea of what it is that you need, you can then start looking. And if something comes up that's the best fit, then you know it, because it's been on your mind for a while. You can go straight for it. Yeah. So I think everyone should take the time, look at your equipment, look at your chair, your desk, your whatever office equipment you use, and then slowly each day have a think, could I adjust this? Could I have this better? And then you can start putting feelers out, look at what's going cheap or free in your neighborhood, in any groups you're on, any secondhand websites, and it'll come to you.
Yeah. Or work for a chair manufacturer and get a discount.
That's a very good idea. Yeah, strike a deal with someone. Yeah. You could offer them.
I mean, with the people when I'm watching the news, that they look so comfortable.
Yes.
Everything is the right height.
Yes. Yes.
I'm like, I'm doing something wrong here, but I have no idea what I'm doing because I can't see the actual setup here.
Right. It's very difficult to see it for ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. It's like so many things in life. It's very difficult for us to see for ourselves. And also, if you look at how long the news reporters are sitting, it's not, in the whole scheme of things, it might not be very long. So
easy for a radio presenter.
Oh yes, then yes. That would be a nice job for me. Go into a radio station.
I think you should.
Right, okay. Do you know that could be my challenge? Get myself into a radio station to assess them.
Well, you've got Sky around the corner. You've got Elstree now. You've got.
It's very true.
The BBC studio somewhere along the line.
Yeah, and I know someone connected, so it might be very good. Okay.
It would be. I mean, I would love to know. I would love to work more closer with you regarding this, because evidently I am doing something wrong, and I'd like to fix it before I end up needing a walking stick.
Oh no! I would say, while you're not in a position to change your equipment, have lots of breaks. Yeah, if there's something you can do standing up, do it standing up.
Right.
If there's something you can do, so if you're on a call, you can do that standing up. And there'll be other things you can do, not sitting down. So whether it's you go for a walk, you could make, if you're comfortable with it, you could make phone calls while you're walking. Yeah, and then when you come to the desk, you're fully ready to work.
Yes.
At the computer or at the deck. So there are many ways that you could work it while you haven't got the funds to change much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if anybody's offering anything that's better than what you've got, take it.
And if you do end up going into any of the studios,
Yeah.
I'd like to see I'd like to see their setups and what
Okay.
I'm either missing or
Okay. So for your research purposes, fine.
or anyone's research purposes. Because I know most of them are closed sets anyway, so
Yes. Yes. So if I do, we'll have to pitch it that you can come with. So you've got to have a role.
I'm open to having a role. I'm self-employed, so I can split myself again.
Right. Okay. And you can do many things that.
Yes, I'm very hands-on, so I learn best by doing.
Right. Very good. Very good. Okay, we can work on that.
That'd be nice.
Yes. I'm going to write that down as a goal.
If there's anyone left in our audience, I'm not even going to look at. Let's have a look at the phone. My phone has now gone off because it's.
And if any of the viewers have a way into the studios or a radio station, you can let us know.
Yep. Although the studio wouldn't be that difficult, Morris Bright, if he still works at the House Street, would be
Okay.
the first port of call.
Right.
But yes, I mean, if there's this, we've talked about sitting at work desk. What about when you're relaxing on a sofa? I mean, most of us just
Yeah. And
that can't be good either.
If you're lying flat, no problem. If you're craning your neck a little bit too much,
yes,
might be a problem. And if you're sitting on your couch with your, I guess the best thing is just think 90 degrees. Think all your angles should be 90 degrees. So and also because our postures are over time, over the years of sitting badly, our postures have got so used to sitting badly that it's actually uncomfortable to sit properly.
Yes.
And so when we lounge on our couch, it's very, very comfortable because our bodies have molded to our couch.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to then rethink it and say, right, I'm going to sit properly. But I think if a person thinks 90, even if you're going to sit with your feet up, still make sure the rest is nice and straight and at 90. And also the height of a sofa or an armchair is quite important because you don't want your knees to be higher than your hips. You don't want.
I think mine are actually when I'm sitting on that couch.
When you're sitting, so you might find lying down more comfortable, and that's why you might naturally go to lying down. And there are ways to fix the height of a couch, whether you put if you've got good mobility, you can put an extra cushion on the couch. If you've got poor mobility, then you need the armrests to be able to really push through to help you stand.
Yeah.
So by putting an extra cushion is going to reduce the height of the armrest that you have available. So you can then also, there's an option of raising the whole of the couch or the whole of the armchair, depending on what the style is, because some it's not possible to raise them safely. So there are ways to fix without buying a new one. There are ways to adjust your armchair or your couch to sit more I can't say comfortably because it won't be comfortable at first until your body has relearned the good way to sit. But to sit properly. Yeah.
And the other thing that I'm sure some people, everyone's been through this. When you travel on a plane,
On a plane.
you have got no room to do anything.
Yeah.
So how on earth do you get any sort of comfort, ergonomically, or any
Any way to get comfort on a plane, unless you're
because
business
you can't really, or first class, you can't really
Yeah.
move around.
Mm,
Yes.
yes.
And you're literally like this.
You're stuck in that position, and it's the very upright position. And the reason it's so uncomfortable is because we're so used to slouching. And this makes us sit upright. The airplane seats make us sit upright, and our bodies don't like it, even though it's very good for us.
Yes.
But on a plane, I would say in economy class, there's no room for movement. You can't stretch your legs
There is
nice.
no room for movement.
Yeah, you can't
There's
really
nothing.
do much.
No.
So the best thing is, at every opportunity, just have a walk around the plane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say if it's possible, don't go more than an hour. Don't go more than 20, 30 minutes without getting up. 20, 30 minutes is the ideal. But I imagine on a plane, if you've got a window seat,
Yep.
it's very difficult to annoy your neighbours to say, hurry up now.
Yeah.
So what I tend to do is to definitely get up when the people sitting next to me get up.
Yep.
And stay out of my seat as long as possible, and walk around. At the back of the plane, you can always strike up conversations with people at the back of the plane because they're doing the same thing. They don't want to sit down, and the stewards and stewardesses are usually quite happy to have conversations. So yeah, I would say, obviously, there are times in a plane you need to sit down, but when it's possible to be walking around, you should.
It's because I'm the king of I'm the king of sitting. My backside is literally, if it can be have a six pack, it would probably have a six pack. But 7 hours, and I'm like,
You didn't get up for 7 hours?
no, and I'm like, how do I walk again?
You must have been quite achy. Were you quite achy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do the whole thing again in July as well. It's
Well, rewatch this bit.
Yep.
And then learn from it and get up and walk. Because you must be very. I mean, I get achy. If I'm sitting on the plane too long, I know I have to get up. And then I stay up and I make conversation with people at the back of the plane. And then it's only when the seatbelt sign goes on that I think, okay, well, I'll go back to my seat. I've been up enough now. Yeah. So airplanes are very difficult, especially for people who work remotely. And on the plane, you can get Wi-Fi now, and they can prepare for meetings, and they can basically carry out their day job while they're on a 7-hour flight.
Yeah.
And I did have one client recently who had that exact thing, and he said he went abroad in January, and when he came back, he noticed that he had neck pain, and he could only put it down to working on the plane on the very little laptop on the very little table.
Yep.
And some things you can't avoid, but limiting the time that you're doing that.
You can avoid that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I say any position is all right, but not for long.
Right. Everything in small doses.
Small dose, exactly.
Like just like what I've done now, which I think now I need to actually move around a bit.
I was thinking that because I advise people, obviously, to get up every 20 to 30 minutes. And here I am on a call for an hour, and you can see I'm not getting up. How do you manage that? Yeah, and I thought, well, I'm on my desktop, so I can't exactly pick up my desktop around. But you'll see if you watch back, I am actually moving my position quite a bit. So yeah, it's about not being static.
Well, thank you for your time today. It's been lots of very good things that we can all take away from and do.
Yeah,
And let's have another one soon.
exactly. Yes, yes,
Yes.
and we'll be in touch about the studios.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you. And thank you, everybody who is watching and listening. And yeah, thank you. Thank you, Joel.
Everyone.